Well, hello there, everybody. I'm sitting down for the first time in 10 minutes. Because as soon as that heavyweight title fight started, I couldn't sit. I was on my feet pacing around. And then after the finish, I still couldn't sit down. We have a new heavyweight champion of the world. Francis Ngannou knocks out Stipe Miocic in round 2. He does it. He answered all the questions from the first fight at UFC 220, and now he is the man. What an ending to a very interesting night of action at the UFC APEX in Las Vegas. This is the first part of our post-fight coverage. We will be sending you over to Las Vegas for the press conferences. We'll hear from Vicente Luque after his big win over Tyron Woodley. We will certainly hear from the new heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou. We will hear from Dana White. I don't know if we're going to hear from Stipe. I kind of hope we don't. I kind of hope we don't.
Why not?
Because he just got knocked into the 5th row.
I mean, it's gonna be good 30, 45 minutes, unless he's going to the hospital, unless he has serious concussion. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't want to see a direct post-fight interview of him. That's kind of, I think we don't want to do that. But I want Stipe. He was the GOAT. He is the GOAT. I don't know. But no, if he's okay, if he's composed, and the doctors, say, you're okay, I'd love to hear from him. It's part of the game, winning and losing.
Yeah, but this is, I don't know. It's one thing to lose a TKO, but when your leg kind of goes back like that, I hate those knockouts. Those are always the scariest ones where one leg is bent over and the rest of your body goes backwards. That was a brutal knockout, man. And then you try to get back up. Which I was like, no.
That's when you got hit really hard, when you get knocked out and you're like, okay, when does the fight start?
Yeah, man.
That
was something. Well, and DC made a great point. As soon as, because he clipped, he didn't rock Ngannou with that left hand, but he definitely got his attention, and he definitely had him stopped in his tracks. But then he went after him, and I was like, "Oh no, what are you doing?" And then Francis landed the short left hook. Yep. Props to you, Casey. You hit that thing right on the money. It was literally exactly the way you.
That's exactly what I said was gonna happen. Yeah, but everything was just it was really faith based. I was like, there's no way that Francis can be with this camp, have this amount of time between the first Stipe fight and this fight, had so many training camps, fought so many high level guys, and he hasn't gotten better. And it's just impossible. It showed. It showed tonight, and I thought Stipe was the same fighter. I think Stipe's been kind of really good for a while, and luck ran out tonight. This was when I say luck, I mean heavyweights. It's just heavyweights. I mean luck, and everyone can get knocked out at heavyweight, and that was a knockout. Good Lord.
Yes. I think everybody expected a more patient Francis Ngannou, but if you had told me that he would be from start to finish, he would be more patient than Stipe the entire time, I would have been like, I think eventually Stipe will take over in the patience department until he gets his number and then start really letting it fly. But you saw it in that second round. Francis stayed composed. He came out early in that second round and threw an overhand right that missed by quite a bit. And I'm like, but then you heard Eric Nixick dude, patient. And you saw him reset himself. It was impressive, man. I mean, Francis is a scary dude. He's a violent knockout artist, but seeing that guy,
and calm,
relaxed Francis, whew.
I wonder.
Man, what do you?
Sorry. It'll be interesting.
What are you thinking?
Go. I'm sorry. Go on.
What are you thinking if you're Jon Jones right now?
I'm like, what's Jan Blachowicz doing right now? Does he have a fight booked? Dude, I've been on the Francis Ngannou hype train for a while. I think I don't know, after maybe his second victory after Derek Lewis, I've said I thought he was the best heavyweight without a doubt in the world for a while. He just hadn't had the opportunity to prove it with a belt around his waist. But like those knockouts he had over Kane and Biggie Boy, and who's this? Was the last one Biggie Boy, or was there one more? Curtis Blades too. Those aren't accidents. These aren't. Like that's what I mean. He can be technical and patient and still wreck you, or he can just go ham like he did on Biggie Boy and still knock you out. And he has and as far as I know, he has a tough as hell chin, and he can sprawl now. Good God, that sprawl when he smashed Stipe down, I was like right then, fight's done. It was like, that was just like, all right, when's it gonna happen?
Yeah, it's wild, man. Is Ngannou the GOAT? Wins over Miocic, Velasquez, JDS, and Arlovsky, 4 past heavyweight champions. Fight me.
You know what?
If there's one conversation I dislike having more than anything
me too.
else,
I hate
it's
it.
the GOAT conversation.
I hate it because it's Fedor. So we're moving on.
He took a giant step forward, knocking out Stipe like that. Definitely puts you in that position. If he goes out there and does that to Jon Jones, man, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's so everyone's opinion is different. We're talking about different eras and different fighters and different organizations. It's like it's so hard to have that conversation.
Do you think Francis is going to be the favorite over Jon Jones, the betting favorite? I believe so. I believe so. I
mean, the betting window is just like the rest of the sport. It's very like recency bias. So, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Well, even look at Jon Jones' recent fights too. They haven't been that. They've been good, but he beat quality competition. Questionably. It was the last 2 fights.
He's actually the favorite right now.
Jon
They
Jones?
had like future odds, and Francis is the minus 137 favorite. Although I kind of expect that number to go up.
Well, wait till the morning. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Good God, man, that was something else.
Now, remember we talked about this at the press conference. We know the answer. Is there any chance for this?
You better hope. Like I said before, it's all up to Jon Jones. If Jon Jones wants like $1 gazillion and the UFC is like, we'll give you half that, and he says no, there's a chance.
Yeah, I believe that.
There's a chance, but it's all money. It's all the negotiation. But I feel like the UFC is just gonna pony up and just throw whatever. Give both those guys whatever they want. Everybody wants to see that fight now. That's the biggest fight we can make right now.
Jon Jones versus Ngannou. Yeah.
I mean, after that finish, yeah. I mean,
that was a flawless performance from Francis. Flawless. It wasn't even competitive. That's how it wasn't. But I think we kind of knew that if Francis was going to win, I don't think anyone thought it was going to be a competitive back and forth fight that Francis might win. I think we thought Stipe was going to win. He'll have to, just somehow tough it out and survive 25 minutes of Francis, but still win. But for Francis, I think for most people, if they thought he was going to win, it was just going to be like Francis won't break a sweat almost. Yeah,
and Stipe came out, threw some leg kicks. I was like, okay, here we go. This is what we want to see. And then he stopped. I mean, and that happens when that's a scary man standing in front of you. I don't think we're going to see the trilogy, at least not anytime soon. It won't be the first choice. I can tell you that right now.
In a weird way, like coming out of when Francis and Stipe fought the first time, even after the fight was over, I still thought Francis was the better fighter. I just thought Stipe won that night. It's like a 7-game series in the playoffs. The team that wins the series winds up losing the first game. It happens a lot. And I kind of felt that way with Francis and Stipe. It was just a little too early for him in his career. Just didn't have that experience. But he got the experience now. And, man. Oh, here we go. Mr. Dana White.
Here comes the Prez. Uncle Dana.
All right. The fight of the night was Woodley and Luca. And performance of the night went to O'Malley and Francis Ngannou. They all won $50,000. Congratulations to them.
Dana, new heavyweight champion of the world. Pretty impressive stuff from Francis Ngannou. I mean, I think everybody's still soaking it in, but give us your initial reaction to that.
Yeah, no, he looked damn good. He looked incredible, man. And obviously you saw a lot of things from him. tonight that we hadn't seen from him in the past. Head kicks, leg kicks, really good grappling, takedown defense, scary.
Yeah. It seemed a mature performance, right? I mean, it's so composed in there. We think of the power that he has, but he has a tendency to kind of rush and get a little wild sometimes. It felt like it was kind of like he's reached a new kind of mature level in his career. Did you feel that way watching him tonight?
Did I feel like it was what?
Like a mature performance from him. That was just much more patient and composed.
Listen, he had that first fight with Stipe. He's had a lot of time to think about it, a lot of time to break down the tape and work on things that, he was deficient in the first fight, and he did his job. He looked damn good tonight. And, he even ate that big right hand that Stipe threw back at him when he was coming at him. It was a very impressive performance.
Yeah. I know in his first rise to the top, he even admitted kind of that he got a little full of himself, and was feeling how he was. So now that he's on top of the world, what do you think? I mean, have you had time to talk to him or get a feel of what you think he's going to be like as a champion?
I can't explain to you guys enough about how it's keeping your head together when you either get the title shot or once you get the title. There's a lot of things that go along with being the champion, and it's not as easy as just training and fighting anymore. There's a lot that goes with it. So, he got a little ahead of himself the first time. Let's see how he handles it this time. So far, so good.
Yeah. And I got to ask you what appeals next, right? Because Stipe, we talked about it, greatest of all time. We said if he loses, he'd probably deserve a rematch. But, man, the idea of a Jon Jones fight seems awfully exciting right now. And Jon came out, tweeted, said, show me the money. What appeals to you most? Because it seems like that would be an amazing super fight.
If I'm Jon Jones and I'm home watching this fight, I start moving to 85.
You think that's a fight that you'd like to put together next? I mean, I know we don't matchmake, but that sure does seem exciting.
Listen, I can sit here all day and tell you, what show me the money mean. I tell you guys this all the time. If you can say you want to fight somebody, but do you really want to?
Yeah. We can talk about this fight tonight, but I did want to ask you about a couple other great performances. Vicente, Luca, and Tyron Woodley, a great fight. I mean, a fight of the night in just one round. Just want to know what you think of both guys, right? Because it seemed like a key moment for Tyron, but that might have been the best we've seen him in forever.
What's that question?
What did you think about both those guys, Luca and Woodley? Because it was a great fight.
Fight of the night. They came to fight. Both obviously Luca, a rising star, a kid on the up, and Woodley, who takes a lot of criticism. That kid came to fight tonight, and he went out on his shield tonight, man. He came in to fight.
That's what I wanted to ask, because a lot of people said if Woodley lost tonight, maybe that's the end. But he looked good in there, right? I mean, you still want to see Tyron fight again?
Listen, how old's Tyron now? 39? 39, that's 4 in a row. Yeah.
Last thing I did want to ask you about was Sean O'Malley. Gets a performance of the night, bonus. Could have had one in the first round. So I just want to hear what you thought about the whole performance, right? Like, thought he had a walk-off and then ended up getting a walk-off anyway. What did you think about him as a whole?
Yeah, he did it twice tonight. He looked good, coming back in after the Cheeto Vera fight, came in tonight against a real tough kid, tough, durable, and with serious punching power. And he put on a masterpiece tonight. I mean, he picked him apart, stayed on the outside, and basically did whatever he wanted to do. Hurt him, thought he finished him, and then finished him again in the third round. So you really couldn't put on a better performance than he did tonight.
Dana, to your right. I walked in a little bit late as you were already up there, so if you were asked this, I apologize. But just curious if you can comment on the poise and the patience that Francis showed tonight.
Yeah, he was a completely different fighter. Like I said, we saw things from him that we'd never seen before. Head kicks, leg kicks, really good grappling, takedown defense. And he took his time and even ate that big right hand from Stipe. He looked perfect tonight.
You were upset with the way he approached the last fight, and you made your upset known. Did you have any conversation with him this time heading into the fight where you had the opposite sense that could you tell that he was going to come this way?
I didn't. But after the fight, when I was up there, he came up to me and said, "Trust me, I'm a different person." And, I said, "I trust you."
Obviously you have to give a lot of credit to him, but I wonder, do you also have to look at his coaching staff? And I guess Eric Nixick deserves a lot of credit there. I mean, to work with that guy and to change him from this just, crazy attacking, person into somebody who was methodical. Even when he hurt Stipe and knocked him down that first time, he didn't just crazy bull rush him. He went with a game plan.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And when you think about his last 4 fights, he's demolished people immediately. And tonight, he worked on different things, leg kicks, head kicks, defended the takedown, spun around, hit Stipe with some shots. He didn't just rely on trying to go out and club him.
And my last question, you look in the history, and whenever you have a big heavyweight that can punch, it's always a massive draw, a massive attraction. Tyson maybe being the greatest example of that. Do you think with Francis, he's got that big smile and he has a great backstory that he can become that guy for you if he continues to do what he's been doing? Yeah, I mean, if you look at the first fight with him and Derek Lewis was a weird fight. Derek Lewis just looked great in his last fight. That guy's been taking it serious, losing weight and everything else. I mean, Francis has some tough guys coming up in the heavyweight division. So it'll be interesting to see.
Dana, when you see Francis tonight, and you said about the evolution of his game, including the takedown defense, if you're an opponent, how do you beat that guy?
Yeah, the guy that we saw fight tonight is scarier than the guy we were afraid of, yesterday. So it totally makes sense as he begins to evolve and get better, and not just physically. The guy's a physical freak, but when mentally, as his game gets better and he does things the way he's supposed to, he's a problem. He's a scary dude. But like I said, Derek Lewis just looked good too, and we finally have some good heavyweights in this division now. So there's some interesting fights for him.
Is it also an added bonus that Francis tends to finish his fights really quickly, so he can be more active than we've seen the heavyweight title picture been for the last few years? Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing is that Francis likes to stay active and Francis likes to fight. At the press conference the other day when we were talking about, he'll call and just say he wants fights. Just give me somebody, I'll fight. So the guy likes to stay busy. He likes to be active. He likes to fight, and he's fun to watch.
Do you think there's a chance he continues to get better? Like, he's been with this new team for a little while now. This is the first fight he's had where he's been able to show some growth. Do you think he will continue to get better over the next couple of years?
Absolutely. Once you grab onto that belt and you start to defend it a few times, you become a completely different person. So, yeah, I think he's only going to get scarier.
Outside of this, your old buddy Oscar De La Hoya did a press conference yesterday announcing his return. It was reported that Triller want him to fight a UFC fighter in his return. They didn't specify which one. Is there anyone on the roster you would allow to go box De La Hoya? Maybe Francis.
To box De La Hoya? Come on, guys. This shit's getting silly. I mean, you guys know it's silly. You just want to ask me silly fucking questions.
That's fair.
Come on, you got 50-year-old fucking guys boxing, and you guys are actually talking about it and covering the press conferences? Come on, you guys.
Last one on that. Did you take the $2 million bet with Snoop?
What's that?
Did you take the $2 million bet with Snoop Dogg?
Did I take it? No. Yeah. First of all, the line is 2-1. The fuck would I bet these guys for even money when the line is 2-1? More silly questions. Come on.
Dana, right behind me.
Yeah.
Right now, there are odds out for Francis and Jon Jones. Francis is a minus 137 right now. Do you agree with those odds? If the fight would happen?
What is it?
Minus 137 in favor of Francis against Jon Jones right now.
Francis is minus 137?
Yeah, as of right now.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting.
Dana over here. I noticed you had quite a few celebrities than usual at the Apex. I'm assuming a lot of people hit you up because they want to be back to see UFC live. How did you pick out, Machine Gun Kelly and them to be here live tonight?
How did I pick them out?
Yeah, because I'm assuming a lot of people are hitting you up to watch.
When you call.
Secondly, Miranda Maverick, great performance on the main card. One of the top prospects, only 23 years old. Just what do you see for her? She says she wants to be a top 10 fighter in 2021.
Yeah, we'll keep her busy. Yeah.
And then my final question, we were going to have the featherweight title fight. We know Alexander Volkanovski, tested positive and everything. Because he lives, around the world, is the plan to try to get him back soon if he comes back healthy quickly, or should we expect that to be pushed back a bit?
Yeah, we need him to recover from this thing first. And once he recovers, then we'll figure out, because he's still sick. So once he recovers and we know he's 100% healthy, we'll get him in there as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Dana, back here to your right.
Yep.
I guess Jon Jones is watching. He tweeted since you've been up there. He said, "Go to 185. I didn't gain all this weight for no reason." Laughing face.
I like it. That sounds serious. That sounds serious then, John. Call Hunter right now.
Is that
We
the
can
fight?
make that fight tonight, John. Call Hunter right now.
That's the fight to make. Would you say?
What's that?
Jones and Ngannou is the fight to make, right?
Well, Derek Lewis is the fight to make. But if Jon Jones really wants that fight, listen, it's one thing to go out and tweet and say you want it and I put on the weight and I did this and that. Do you want the fight? I promise you, we can call Derek Lewis or one of these other heavyweights and they want the fight. If Jon Jones really wants the fight, Jon Jones knows he can get the fight. All he's got to do is call and do it. Like I said, it's easy to say you want the fight, but if you really want the fight, Francis Ngannou is the heavyweight champion of the world right now. All he's got to do is pick up the phone and call Hunter, and we can get the deal done.
Hunter, can you let me know if Jon Jones gives you a call? Okay, cool. Last thing, Dana. Now that Stipe's run is, over for now, can you just reflect on what?
That was fucking weird, huh? Holy shit. What the hell was that all about?
Send him to
Huh?
Oscar.
What did he say to me?
Send him
He's ready to fight for me? He doesn't look like he's in fighting shape. Poor guy. Anything else?
Yeah. I just want to ask you if you could reflect on what Stipe has done over the last few years as the heavyweight champ.
Oh, I'm sorry, say that again?
I just want to see if you could reflect on what Stipe Miocic has done over the last few years as heavyweight champ.
Yeah, I've had this weird relationship with Stipe, but I love Stipe, man. The guy's as solid as you can get, kept his job as a firefighter, is loved in his hometown, and will go down as the greatest heavyweight ever in UFC history, in the sports history, actually. And, tonight's Francis's first night. I don't know what the future holds for Stipe. Obviously after this fight, he's got to go home and, heal up, spend some time with his family, and then we'll talk about what's next for him. But, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Stipe Miocic and everything he's done in this sport and for this company.
Hey, Dana. With the star power of Francis Ngannou and cities opening back up, is there an ideal location you'd have him have his first title defense?
For Francis?
Yes.
Where's his first title defense?
Yeah, an ideal location with cities opening.
I don't know. We got to see as this stuff. What I'm hoping is we go to Jacksonville, then we go to Texas, and then Vegas, and then we just keep rolling. With full sold out events. So. Obviously, Francis would be a Vegas, New York City, Fight Island guy, you know what I mean? One of those locations.
And lastly, with Sean O'Malley getting right back where he left off, I know he had the loss to Chito Vera. They've been barbing back and forth in social media. Do you see an opportunity for those two to run it back? Does that fight interest you?
I don't know. Obviously, you can make that fight anytime. That one's always there. So, I don't know. I don't know what's next for either one of those guys.
Dana, just one question for me.
Hi.
This is the last pay-per-view scheduled in Las Vegas before you hit the road. Is it conceivable that you could come back for a pay-per-view event at Apex this year?
Do we think we'll do a pay-per-view here again?
Yeah,
I hope
this
not.
year.
I hope not.
Would
Listen,
any?
listen, don't get me wrong. This is amazing. I'm sure it's a lot easier for you guys too. We pull right in the parking lot, we roll in. You know what this is kind of like? Everybody who's getting lazy and used to working at home, where you don't really have to put, you leave your pajama bottoms on, put a nice top on, sit in front of your, computer screen and Zoom somebody. It's the easy, lazy way to do things, but this isn't the right thing to do. We should be in sold out arenas, fans packed, going crazy. And unfortunately, we'll all have to start traveling to all these cities again, but that's the right thing to do. This is the easy, lazy thing to do, and it's nice, and it was awesome while it lasted, but hopefully this is over.
There are also 2 events on the schedule. Are those events, could they be moved as well? Are you looking to move them?
Next 2.
There's the 10th that's here, and I believe the 17th.
Yeah. So it's funny, great question, actually, because we've had this debate that's going on right now at the office with the fight nights. Do we stay here with the fight nights for a while again? You know what? So Monday, I have a meeting on this on Monday, right? This shit should be together on Monday. Call me Monday. I'm giving you this story. Call me Monday.
I appreciate that. The guy that came in here, perhaps he should go fight Oscar De La Hoya. Think you could say that?
Yeah.
You want the fight?
Yeah.
Dana, UFC 264 on July 10th, I believe it is. Could that possibly be at the T-Mobile Arena here?
I hope so. That's the plan.
That's the plan. And could that be Conor versus Poirier on there?
I hope so.
Okay.
We all hope so.
Stephen, just one. With the world sort of opening back up, is the plan still to create a hotel next door in the property? Is that sort of getting settled?
Yep. I got so much stuff planned. I can't wait to share with you guys, and hopefully in the next month and a half, I'll hold a press conference with you guys and show you everything that we're working on, and I'm excited about it.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Dana, for that July event, could Justin Gaethje co-main in case you have to step in from one of the guys, Poirier or McGregor?
Yeah, we could do that, or he would be the backup.
Thank you, sir. Good night tonight.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Well, that was fun. We had a little bit of everything there. Dana White having conversations with Jon Jones. Staring right into Jose Youngs's camera. John, call Hunter. Let's make this thing happen. Ball's in your court. So there you go. And a fan tried to crash the presser, and
I think he did crash. I don't think he
all
tried.
sorts
I
of
think
fun stuff.
pretty...
I mean, he didn't get anywhere, but his voice was heard. So that's good. In case you guys are just joining us right now and you missed the bonuses, fight of the night went to Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque. Got no problem with that. That was a wild round. That was unbelievable. So yes, well deserved. Performances of the night, no surprise. Sean O'Malley and the new heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou. 50 G's.
Yeah, I guess they skipped out Alonzo Minifield because the quality and competition weighed in there. Oh, but look who we got.
Oh, here's Vicente Luque. Speaking of, one half of the
Vicente, congratulations. Obviously, an incredibly exciting fight in a short period of time. How are you feeling right now after that fight?
Thanks, man. I'm really excited. I think I've been envisioning this for a while. Training camp has been going on great. I visualized this win, but actually coming here, having the fight, winning the fight, it's much better than I expected. You know, biggest win in my career, and definitely super excited.
I know you had a lot of respect for Tyron coming in, but that might be the best we've seen him in a long time. I mean, did you expect him to come out that aggressively, or did it take you by surprise?
I did expect that. You know, he really started real strong, and I expected it because it's crazy. Whenever somebody's going to fight me, I always get the best out of those guys. I don't know if it's my style, and they know that I'm going to go in there to try to knock them out and submit them every single minute of the fight. But for some reason, I always get the best version of every fighter, and I'm good with that. You know, I get ready, and it's good because it never lets me underestimate my opponents. So I was ready for that, and I think I really like the fight, how it went, because I showed a little bit of my wrestling, which I've been working so much on. And yeah, guys cannot take me down that easy now, and I can keep on standing and striking. So yeah, it was a great fight.
Yeah. I mean, you kept your guard high and blocked a lot of it, but it seemed like some of them may have connected a little bit. I mean, were you dazed at all in there?
Yeah, he connected a little bit behind my ear with a strong right hand. I knew he hits hard. I knew that, you know, I didn't want to get punched by him clean, but it ended up connecting. Thank God I have a hard chin. I'm used to, you know, getting hit and be able to survive. But for a little bit, I lost a little bit of my balance. I kind of saw 2 or 3 of him. But I knew at that point he's going to come and try to knock me out now. And I'm just going to, you know, use my skills in striking to try to counterattack him. And it paid off. You know, he came in trying to knock me out. I hit him clean, got him hurt, and then eventually worked for the finish.
I was going to say, as he was hurt and staggering around, like, what's going through your head? Are you thinking, hey, let's go finish this fight? Or is it more like, hey, let's be careful and not get caught by anything silly?
No, it's let's go finish that fight. Yeah, I mean, that's my style. I'm kind of cautious a little bit. I don't want to get hit with stupid stuff. But at the same time, when I see an opening, I'm going to go for it. I don't know. I just don't know how to not go for the finish. If I see that finish, I'm going to chase it. I'm going to look for, like, create an opportunity. And that's what I did. I heard him, so I kept on trying to knock him out. Once we got to the ground, I saw, yeah, I don't think this guy's going to get knocked out that easy. He has a hard chin, so let me submit him. And it worked out at the end.
Did you know the choke was in, or were you worried you might have to adjust and you know, do something else?
I went for it because it was in. You know, I don't go to chokes if they are not 100% in. That's something Gilbert talked to me a lot about. Don't waste your energy in something that you're not sure of. And so from then on, I always go to a submission only if I know it's going to finish. And that one was pretty tight. I knew it was going to finish. Woodley worked really good because he's good at that submission as well. So I could hear his corner man, and they were saying, hey, you know how to get out of that. Do what you got to do to get out. And I was hearing them, and I was thinking, like, man, I know he knows, but this is really tight. I don't think you're getting out. And at the end, he tapped. So it was a great win. And, I mean, perfect night.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, I know ahead of time you said, hey, top 5 is what makes sense next. But, you know, we talked about the history with Leon, the history with Wonder Boy. I mean, is there a fight that makes the most sense to you right now?
Sense? I don't know. I'm not really good with sense. But the fight I really wanted, Kamaru took it. I wanted to fight Masvidal. I think that fight would be a banger. Our styles match up really good. That's why I called out Nate Diaz. I think our styles match perfect. And if he's interested in coming out of retirement, I'll not fight a top 5 to fight him. But, you know, my focus is on the top of the division. So, I don't know, Leon Edwards, Wonder Boy, 2 guys that beat me. I would love those rematches. But we'll see. We'll see. There are many fights up there, and I definitely want a high-level opponent right now.
Vicente, right here. You made it known you were obviously a big fan of Tyron in there before you guys even fought. Did anything in there while you're fighting him, in the back of your mind, you're like, I've seen this 1,000 times from him from watching this tape, and you basically knew what was coming before he threw it?
Yeah, when we were clinched in the wall, and I was kind of like pummeling, and he was throwing some knees. I was trying to hit him with knees, and I was just looking at him, and I'm like, man, I'm really fighting Woodley. This is kind of crazy. But that was just a split second, and then I heard Gilbert, I heard my corner man speaking, and I'm like, okay, get back to the fight and let's do what we trained for. But yeah, it's different. It's a big thing when you fight somebody that you watch for so long. But I think the fight against Wonder Boy helped me out a lot with this fight because in that fight, it was kind of the same. I watched a lot of Wonder Boy fighting, and when I was in there, I kind of had a little bit, I was a little bit nervous, a little bit excited because I was fighting, a guy that had already fought for the title. After that loss, I realized, man, these guys are just like me. They've worked their way up, and they are there because they deserve it. That's what I'm doing. I'm working my way up, and I'm here because I deserve it. That's why, like, now I can see these guys. I can see myself at the same level of these guys, and I don't know. It's just another fight for me, but it was super exciting to fight a guy that was a champion and that I used to watch a lot and be a fan of.
Were you able to share any words with him after the fight?
Yeah, I talked a little bit, and most of all, I thanked him for the fight. I think that, whenever you're fighting somebody that is up and coming, it's tough. You've been a champion. You want to fight the best in the world, and now you're fighting an up and coming fighter. I was thanking him for taking this fight and really going in there and bringing in all the best of his and having a great fight. I think it was a banger.
Then say you don't get the Nate Diaz fight and all these other fighters are kind of matched with other people. You haven't main evented any fights yet. Is that another thing you're looking forward to down the line? You are an action fighter. You had a lot of fight nights coming up. They want to do fights around the world now. So are you also looking for 5-round fights in the future?
Definitely. I think I'm ready for a 5-round fight. I think that I've been evolving every single spot of my game. That's wrestling, striking, jiu-jitsu, and also strength and conditioning. My cardio is great. I really feel like I'm ready for those 5-round fights, and we'll see. A main event will interest me a lot, and yeah, I want especially to fight with big crowds. I miss that a lot, and yeah, we'll see what happens next.
In the corner. Right after the fight, it looked like you were talking to your coach, kind of running back a couple of things that happened in the fight. Is that what was going on?
Yeah, I was. I let him know that I was asking them what shot was the one that hit me, because I felt that something hit me behind the head, but I didn't know if it was an overhand or just a straight right. And they kind of let me know, and I said, yeah, he hits hard. I mean, I expected him to hit hard, but once you actually get hit, you realize how hard Woodley actually does hit. And I don't know, I was kind of excited for the win, but also like, man, he hit me, and it was crazy how all went down. I thought that in striking I would have clean fight. That's what I always want to have. Besides that, it was a clean fight, but he hit me with that right hand. I was kind of like, yeah, we got to correct that mistake. And I always like to talk to my coaches after my fight, and even though it's a win, I still want to see what I can improve after this fight.
You mentioned Wonder Boy and Leon Edwards running that back. What's different for you now if you were to take those fights again?
I think I'm better. I'm a better fighter in every single aspect. Also, I'm more experienced. I've been, fighting. After Wonder Boy lost, I changed a lot of things in my training that I had kind of overlooked. So I think I'm a better fighter overall, and I'm more experienced right now. So I think that I'm really ready to have this rematches, and it's gonna be a different fight for sure.
Congrats on the win, Vicente. How much did your game elevate? I know you were ready, you were prepared, but did it give you a little extra spark that you were elevated to the co-main event of a big pay-per-view in Vegas?
Definitely. I always like to have the most eyes on me, on my fights, and being the co-main event, I knew that meant, a little bit more people are going to be watching me. So yeah, it motivated me, it pumped me up to go in there and get a big win like this one. And I think the biggest thing my biggest motivation is having the best fight for the crowd. That's something that has always been in my mind since my first fights, much before the UFC. I've never been able to have boring fights. That's something I don't want to have. If I'm there and I got to stall, I'm not going to do that. I'll do something else, even if it costs me, the win, but I'm going to have exciting fights. And yeah, being a co-main event for sure was a big motivator.
Well, that was definitely exciting, whether it be Apex or if that would have been at Raider Stadium, people would have went nuts. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Big win for Vicente Luque. That was such a fascinating matchup on paper because, I feel like crossroad fight has been thrown out just on a whim, like so loosely over the last several months. This was like the pure definition of a crossroads fight. Like two guys who needed a win for like completely different reasons. And Vicente Luque comes through, he gets over the hump, beats a former champion, a very hungry, very game former champion, a very aggressive Tyron Woodley, a guy he hasn't been that aggressive since the Darren Till fight. So to see him come out, have a little spunk to him, that's what I said. That I knew that was going to happen. That was my like one prediction. I sucked with my picks tonight, but that was like my one thing. I was like, Woodley's going to show up tonight.
But did he show up? He got knocked out in the first. That's the problem. And when we hear this all the time.
He hurt Luque too.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. It's just like, but he got knocked out cold too. It's just like wild how like you see this a lot from the commentators. I feel they're like, he needs to be more aggressive. He needs just to lay it all out there. And when you do, you get knocked out sometimes, a lot of times. So like maybe there had to be some middle ground with Woodley, is this like I guess until Woodley lost, that was probably the best Woodley we've seen in I feel like a couple years until it wasn't.
Since the Till fight.
Yeah. So
since the Darren Till fight.
It's just this sport is wild, man. Like I still don't know. Like I never thought Woodley was going to be a championship level fighter anymore. But like I don't know where I don't know. Actually, I just don't know where he is right now because if they fight 10 times, maybe they split it 5-5. I don't know. That was just it was just wild, man. Good for Luque though. Good for Luque.
Caution the win. Hell yeah.
But that caution to win.
He threw caution to the win.
Yeah. Is that the best thing to do though? I know.
Compared to having your back against the fence for 25 minutes.
But is Luque capable of that? Is Luque Gilbert Burns? Is Luque Colby Covington? That's why I was shocked. I predicted actually a boring Woodley decision because he just needed that W beyond anything. Yeah, he went for it and yeah, he got him.
Yeah, it's good.
Man, he was trying so hard. Good on the UFC for getting an extra $50,000 for those two gentlemen. But it's crazy game plans. It's just like I'm really interested to know once Woodley does an interview or something, or maybe his coaches, what the actual game plan was. Was it to be conservative, or was it just to like, let's knock this guy out in the first round? Let's just do this, go out on our shield, win or lose, I don't know. I don't know if that was the best decision. It was definitely entertaining, but I don't know if that was the best thing for Woodley to do. Seeing how it finished off.
Only he knows the answer to that question. But I don't know, man. Dana White was asked about it. I don't think I don't know. I don't think it seems too promising, even after a fight like that we see Tyron back. I'd like to see him back.
Unless he takes
I kind of want to see that guy again.
Of course, unless he takes a giant pay cut. Well, no matter where he goes, if he goes to Bellator, Horizon, KSW, wherever, no matter what, he is taking a giant pay cut for his next fight if he continues to fight on. And
he's a super talented guy. He's got a million things going on. But listen, if he wants to go, he showed he's still got a little bit of spark.
Oops.
So that's good. But we'll see. We are still awaiting the arrival of the new heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou. El Capo says Stipe deserves a rematch. And here's what I'll say. You're not wrong. Yeah. He does deserve a rematch. He's just not going to get it. And if you listen to that press conference, probably the most interesting thing Dana White said at the whole thing was, he said Derek Lewis was the guy. Dana White said Derek Lewis is the guy that should fight for the title next. Jon Jones is obviously number one. That's the biggest fight you can make. Derek Lewis, number two. Stipe's not even in the top two, according to Dana White.
How can this guy just 2 days ago at a press conference, Dana White's like, this is the greatest heavyweight ever in the UFC. Ever. GOAT. He's the greatest ever. He loses a fight. You're in the back of the line. That's wild. Obviously, I hate going there. But like, Francis is gonna fight the guy who's the cheapest, and of Stipe, Jon Jon Jones or Derek Lewis, the three kind of contenders, I'm assuming Derek Lewis will take it for the cheapest. And
there's no way. Now, normally I would agree with you on this,
You
but
don't-
there's no way they're not making this fight with Jon Jones, and it's going to cost them a pretty penny, and they're going to pay it. It's huge. That's a huge fight. When was it? That is the biggest heavyweight title fight since freaking Brock Lesnar was in the UFC, in terms of like drawing power and pay-per-view buys. Like Francis, I mean, Francis is going to be a popular dude. Like people want to see Francis fight. He's a scary cat. Him and Derek Lewis, people still have that taste in their mouths from that first fight. It's never going to leave. Like they're both much better fighters. They're both in different places, but the taste of that first fight is still going to be in people's mouths. And I believe we will see them fight again at some point, and it'll be a great fight. It'll be fun, and someone's going night-night pretty quickly in that fight. But you got to do the Jones fight. You got to do it.
Yeah, that's a fight that makes sense. But it ain't going to be. I really think it's going to be Derek Lewis.
We'll see. We'll see. It's Derek Lewis. Again, and whatever I said earlier about Stipe, I'm now saying about Derek Lewis. Unless Jon Jones like completely prices himself out of the fight. If Jon Jones just goes in there and, makes good. If he makes like Masvidal money for the Diaz fight, if he gets that and he's happy with that, that's the fight they're going to make. No doubt about it. But if he goes in there, not that I believe Dana when he said that Jon Jones wanted Deontay Wilder money, but if Jon Jones goes in there and says, I want Deontay Wilder money, Derek Lewis gets the fight.
Why doesn't Jon Jones deserve Deontay Wilder money? Why doesn't Francis Ngannou deserve Deontay? Because they're going to go.
We all deserve.
They're going to go to the cheapest.
They all deserve.
They're going. Yeah, I deserve Deontay Wilder money. They're going to go with the cheapest fighter. That sucks. It sucks for fans. It sucks for us. I mean, we're fans. I don't know. I hate even thinking about that because I just wanted to see. Oh yes, perfect. Let's do this. But I'm not writing checks. There's
certain fights you can't ignore. There's certain fights you just can't ignore, no matter the price. Here we are. We did it. We got one.
You think so? I enjoy your positivity. I enjoy your positivity, Mike.
Dana wants it, and he tried to like kind of undersell it just to like play with Jon, and then Mark Ramundi saved the whole day. Mark Ramundi gets on there. Jon Jones happened to tweet at the right time. Mark Ramundi read it. You saw the fire in Dana's eyes. Mm-hmm. Promoter Dana kind of came out a little bit. It was great. Looked right in the camera. Jon, pick up the phone, dude. Call Hunter. Let's go. Let's do this thing. And even said, like, if he wants it, all he has to do is call, and he gets the fight. It's his if he wants it. So we'll see.
It's like, what?
Listen, Jon.
At what price? At what price?
Get your money. Get your money. Get it. But don't go too crazy. Don't go too crazy. You got this. We're gonna see that fight. I'm feeling good about it. We're gonna see Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones. August 2021. That's my prediction.
Maybe who? I don't see. Think about Jon Jones. That's why I don't think it's gonna happen, because Jon Jones can fight anybody. It doesn't have to be Francis. It can just be whoever is the champ. And if Francis doesn't want to wait till August, they have a spot a pay-per-view to film in June or something. I don't know. It could be Francis versus whoever. I think is whenever they come to UFC and Jon Jones come to a good business decision, then Jon Jones will fight whoever is the champion. I don't think it has to be Francis, honestly. I think
who else would it be?
Well, no. Like if Francis fights in between here, like if he fights Derek Lewis and Derek Lewis wins, Derek Lewis knocks out Francis, then it could be Jon Jones versus Derek Lewis. If they do a rematch in between Francis and Stipe wins, then it'll be Jon Jones versus Stipe. That's why I don't think Jon Jones is going to be the A side, no matter what, in the heavyweight title fight. That's what I mean. Does that make sense? That's why I don't think the UFC is in a rush to get Jon Jones in there. They'll get in a rush. They get the right business decision. Jon Jones agrees to the right amount of money, But if they're not happy with that, they'll just move on to the next contender.
They will. They will. Yeah, if John prices himself out, they will. Absolutely. But if he just goes in there and says, dude, you're going to make a ton of money in this fight. We'll give you points. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll get it done. What do you want? Just don't ask for $25 million and I'll give you the damn fight.
That's the thing. This fight is worth $25 million for those fighters. And they should be.
It sure is.
And it's, at some point, dude, remember Izzy talking? Izzy like I remember when he fought Whitaker, he was saying, it's like, no, I'm going to be making that Mayweather money in the UFC. People think you got to do boxing to make Mayweather money. I'm going to do it in the UFC. And, I think, John wants that Mayweather money, and the UFC doesn't want to give him Mayweather money. Doesn't want to give him Deontay Wilder money. They don't want to give him Anthony Joshua money. They don't want to give him Tyson Fury money, so they want to give him.
He's not even going to get Conor money.
You're not even get Conor money. So,
well, you got to sell this fight. This is why, and for this point, Conor gets that kind of money because he sells. Conor can fight literally anybody, and it's going to do $1 million plus. Like literally anybody. Jon Jones, while very polarizing figure, everyone knows who Jon Jones is, widely considered the greatest of all time. I don't think Jon Jones has ever done 1 million pay-per-view buys. Even the second fight with DC, that was his greatest rival. Everyone was talking about that fight. Finally here, the rematch. Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier 2. And I think it did well. I think it did like 800,000 pay-per-views, but it didn't do 1 million. Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou does 1 million. And if Jon wins his next fight, he's going to do 1 million again. And then you make that money. Then you get that Floyd money. Then you get that Conor money. But you got to sell it first.
But this
business sucks, Casey.
I know. I just want to talk about technique and punching people. I was like,
But Stipe does deserve the rematch. But what I think is going to happen, and well deserved. Take some time.
Oh yeah, he's
get it together. I'll be shocked if he fights this year again.
Yeah, I would love to see Derek Lewis versus Stipe at some point.
That would be fun.
They haven't fought yet.
That would be fun. I mean, Stipe versus Blades is interesting. 15-0 Sugar Show.
Let's talk about another fight.
I mean, I'm trying to think. 13. So technically, I mean, if you're going by the O'Malley math, because O'Malley was 13-0, Sean O'Malley basically got 2 knockout wins tonight. So, all right, I'm with you, Jason. I'm with you.
Oh, I completely disagreed with the commentary. They were like, he made a giant mistake not following up. And it's like, no, he didn't. That's classic what you do. You drop a guy and you walk away and you force the referee to make that stoppage. And most of the time they do, but he didn't. And he just turned around and started punching him some more. I thought the commentary was kind of crazy. Talking about he made a giant mistake. It's like, no, he didn't. He still, I think O'Malley got hit with like 1 shot. Man, talk about Sean O'Malley. Wow. I picked Almeida in this fight. I thought we're gonna see an old Almeida, but I think the Almeida that we kind of saw as a title prospect a few years ago. I just don't think it's there. I think Almeida's a good action fighter, but man, as long as O'Malley's legs hold up, woo, man, he didn't get his durability really tested this fight, which is a credit to him because he didn't get hit that much, but O'Malley looked awesome. Another really good band. Like this is the O'Malley that we saw knock out Eddie Wineland. This is that kind of throwing all those feints and just being quick and just using his range and his kicks and his just straight punches so well. Very exciting.
We will not have Stipe at the press conference. Transport to the hospital, precautionary CT scan per the UFC. So
yeah, that's what I meant. Like, once the doctors check him out, because sometimes you get knocked out and you're fine. But I think it was a heavy enough knockout that, like, yeah, get this guy to the hospital. So, yeah, bad. It was a bad. That was a violent knockout. Like that was a scary knockout. But go back to the O'Malley Almeida fight. I was super impressed with Sean O'Malley. I mean, that dude, he showed up. That was an incredible performance. Thomas Almeida, I don't know if you can
go to the gym and do like chin ups, like chin workouts, chin strengthening. Dude, I was blown away by his durability tonight. He took some big shots and kept going. And I mean, it took him. Mark Smith should have stopped the fight in the third round after O'Malley dropped him, because that last shot was totally unnecessary. It just was like O'Malley didn't even like know where he was. He didn't even see the shot coming, and O'Malley just kind of like did the no look. I'm not falling for this again, and just landed that ferocious right hand. Whew, that was nasty.
And it landed.
But good on Almeida, man.
Yeah, you see guys jump from the top and do those big punches. A lot of times, that's not a punch you train to jump up and just like. Well, he didn't quite go all Hendo on it, but yeah, man, great performance. Ooh, man, as long as O'Malley is, if he can, as long as he can, take shots, and it seemed like he took them more tonight. Did he begin? I made him went for the legs a couple of times, but he just couldn't get within range because, freaking, dude, Sean O'Malley's 5'11". It's insane. He's so freaking tall for a bantamweight.
He landed some good like outside leg kicks, like that caught Sean's attention.
Got him, yeah.
Outside, kind of upper, inside too. Like wasn't quite to the ding ding, but like just below it to the upper thigh. I mean, he landed some that definitely got Sean's attention, but
I like you talking
just so hard.
I like talking like a dad. Ding ding.
Ding ding. Just because I want to make sure we talk about them, because obviously with these top 3 fights, those are the big stories. But great performance from Miranda Maverick, and I was impressed with Julian Robertson too. I actually was very impressed with Julian Robertson tonight.
Yeah, I thought
she is. Her one knock is that the first round is like her round. She doesn't get that first round sub. It just kind of falls apart for her. And she was in there the whole time. And Miranda's a strong woman, very strong. She's got that farmer strength, and fun. It was a good fight. Miranda's gonna be a top 15 25er on Tuesday, and Julian Robertson showed some gusto. So great fight. Really enjoyed that one. Good win from Miranda Maverick. Jamie Malarkey, congratulations to him. 46 seconds, knocks out Kama Worthy, his first UFC win. Alonzo Menafield with the Von Flue choke, the OSP choke.
Did Malarkey win 50K?
He did not.
Oh, bummer. That was a beautiful setup. That was beautiful. He did. What was it? He feinted the right low, came over the top with a left hook. It was just a classic boxing combo. Bummer, man.
Good win for him.
That is a bummer.
Menafield, good win. Fabio Charant, broken rib. He had some broken ribs, so he said he couldn't breathe. That was one thing he said after the fight. So hopefully he's doing better. Good win for Menafield. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, he looked awesome, man. He looked really good. I actually picked Jared Gooden to win this fight because I was like, this fight's going to be contested on the feet for most of it. Like I knew Nurmagomedov would get him down eventually, but I know Jared's been working on that part of his game, getting back up, and man, Nurmagomedov looking sharp on the feet, man. He looked good. I was impressed. Miguel Olekzaychuk defeats Modestas Bukauskas. I scored it for Bukauskas.
I had it for Bukauskas, too.
There's one sort of like iffy judging, not a robbery, but I thought Bukauskas won that fight.
Oh, so
Yo.
Hey,
it's Jose.
Hey, Jose.
We got a big break, so I'm timing in. I'm very tired. I'm very tired, but we're just waiting on Francis. Stipe's obviously in the hospital. Sorry if I'm a little muffled. I'm using the lapel mic on my headphones.
Hey, you sound fine, sir. You want to
just wait on Francis now.
Yeah. Let me put a graphic for you. So I got Jose Young. So hold on.
Voice of.
Yeah, voice of.
So Jose, were you sitting or on your feet for the heavyweight championship fight?
I was actually sitting because our friend Oscar Willis and I made the executive decision to try and Sean O'Malley come in right before the main event. Decided if we could get him in quick. So I was exporting videos while the fight was happening. So I was monitoring a computer while watching. But dude, as soon as that happened, my hands just went in the air. So that's all. Like I wasn't on my feet like the Izzy Jan fight or the Jan Sterling fight, but my heart was just about to beat out of my chest before that fight happened.
Some compliments, Jose. Al Mack said you did a great job today.
Oh, thanks, Al Mack.
Hey, Jose, wait. So wait, I'm getting
Yeah.
conflicting reports. Did the drunk moron, as you can see on the screen,
So
did he fight?
I
Okay.
heard, yeah. So no, so he was. Dana was asking questions, and I don't. Casey, you've been to the Apex, but so you've actually been in this room. So we're no longer, the media room's no longer in the tent outside. It's now inside where the media rooms were. The media room was after, like, remember the media days they would have down that
Where we have
corridor?
lunch at? They had
And then
lunch? The lunch area?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
They have it in the corridor, then you have to walk down the aisle with all the tough jerseys into the other room on the other side.
Yeah.
So this is where the media room is now. So the front door to the Apex is about 15 feet away from me, and that's where the parking lot is. So fans can see, as they're exiting, can see inside the media room because it's all glass windows. So they can like bang on the thing, and we can see fans walking in and out. A fan ran in through the doors while Dana's answering the question, and I heard him yell, "Dana, I'm ready to fight for you." And he was like holding up what looked like a folded business card or a piece of paper or something. And then within 1 second, a bunch of people swarmed him and dragged him out. And Dana was just like, well, that was weird. And then like he just went on about it. So it was a little weird.
That bubble sounds perfect there. Working great.
Well, the fans are allowed in now. So.
Oh, really? Wait, what do you mean? Like they're just.
Well, you can buy tickets to this. Like it's obviously limited, but like
really?
Before the Apex, there were no seats anymore. It's all VIP pretty much, so everything is still super spread out. But like there were some fans that were like you saw Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox and Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker were here, and you can see the fans in the background a little bit. But still super limited. I would still hazard a guess. I would say low hundreds, if that, maybe 50 at the most.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It was all VIP.
Oh wow, okay.
It was all VIP.
Wow.
So no one, I don't think you could just walk in off the street.
So Mark
Interesting.
Ramonde, you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what was heard. We're all very confident the fan was very inebriated and was having a damn good time tonight. So he was like, damn, he got dragged out. It was very weird. He was having a good time. The only person that probably had a better night than Francis was that fan.
Right.
He's might got a new contract.
Where is Francis? He is he's
in the
soaking
back.
it
So
in.
there's actually I know you guys always ask me this like every week, like how's this fight week feel from before? There is a ton of media here. There's so much, and not just media in the media room. Like Francis is going through the car wash in the back case. So they're doing like back to back to back to back to back. So we're the last stop, the media room. So he's doing all the TV partners and all that stuff. So that's why a lot of fans, fighters were on. There were big gaps between fighters this time.
All right.
There
so
we
he
go.
probably does.
He'll be here.
Yeah, Brazilian TV.
He will be
ESPN,
here. We're just
NBC,
waiting.
yeah.
He's also got to put on he's probably put on this slick outfit that he always seems to wear these days. So I'm sure he's taking his time.
Yeah. Hey, listen, remember the last pay-per-view? I mean, it was like an hour later than this before we started getting these post-fight pressers. So soak it in.
Yeah.
Soak it in. This card, the pacing tonight was tremendous.
That's
Like
what
there was no
our
fluff,
coworker-
no BS.
Our coworker Alex Savis and I were talking like after the first few fights, like, man, I'm hoping this pacing keeps up because like Mike, and Casey, like you don't do as many of the videos anymore, but like when adding the addition of social media clips and everything adds like 4 hours to fight nights. So on late nights, Alex and I will go to bed at like 3-4 in the morning. And I'm just like, let's go. Let's just keep this moving.
Oh yeah, when I went to the pay-per-views, normally for a Vegas pay-per-view around 3:30 in the mornings. By the time I start kind of getting ready to sleep,
Or I know Casey used to know my routine, Mike. I wouldn't even book a hotel Sunday. I would just stay. I would put all my stuff in Casey Nesta's room, work in their room, and then just at 3 in the morning, just go to the airport, catch a 6 a.m. flight. I would just work and then pass out on the plane. So I'd be awake for about 29 hours of fight night. So
Yeah,
That'll be back to normal soon.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know, drunk fans barging in rooms. Yeah, that does feel kind of. That is a bit of a back to normal. So yeah.
You're not wrong. And this fight week too, because I had to go to that Askren Jake Paul thing. I had to go like onto this. I had to go onto the strip and like go into media rooms and stuff. Like it was like a legit media room where all tables were spread out. It felt like a normal fight week because I hadn't been on the strip since Adesanya Romero. Because after that, the Apex is way off the strip in like the warehouse district. So I'm not even remotely close to the strip right now. So this is the last time I was there. And man, I tell you what, you'd have no idea a pandemic was happening while you're walking down there.
It's crazy, man.
Let's stick to fighting.
Yes.
You're not wrong.
Hey, Jose, you didn't even notice my La Dojo shirt.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I was gonna say it at the end. I didn't want to break it up. I got it. So when we left the Triller press conference thing, they were giving out shirts, and they're like, "Jose, you want a shirt?" I was like, "You better believe I want a shirt if I'm covering this thing right now." So it just says, like Triller, and it says everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I'm like, isn't that Mike Tyson's like quote? Doesn't he hate you? Like Mike Tyson hates Triller right now. And I was like, he's just like, yeah, well, you know. I was like, all right.
What was the story of Mike Tyson? He turned down a $25 million contract, or was that all rumors?
I don't know all the.
Right.
No, it was all rumor and innuendos, I think. But it will not happen on Triller. I think him and Triller have a big fallout. I don't know all the details. I'm assuming it's because they took a big piece of the pie he thought he'd get. That's just my assumption though.
Yeah. What was it like being at that press conference? Because I could tell you from trying to watch that press conference, it was atrocious.
It was weird. So I was talking with Kenny, where the boxing media that covers boxing, like usually like our friend Marcus Villegas was here for Fight Hub TV and like a couple other boxing sites. Like they were very like they all have their cameras in the front and they're running around like TMZ style. And me and Kenny are in the back, just posted up on our tripods, like doing how we normally do on the MMA scene. And everything was very spread out. Like everyone was like 10 feet apart, all the seats. And I was the only one, they had a box, like an XLR box. I was the only one plugged in because Kenny was streaming it like us. So fun story. Well, I'm sure you guys saw Oscar De La Hoya's mic didn't work when he made his big announcement for the stream. I was the only person in the entire room, the entire world, that had clean audio and footage of that. So because I was the only one plugged in the box and I was recording it, obviously. And so I turn around and there's like 12 people surrounding me. They're like, "Did you record it? Did you record it?" I was like, "Oh, whoa, yup, I got it." And then they're like, "Is the audio good?" I was like, "Yup." And they're like, "Can we have it?" I'm like, "All right." So I gave them the footage and they're like, "What's your site?" And I was like, "MMA Fighting." They're like, "Great, cool, awesome." And then they went and came back and then they replayed our footage without giving us credit. So if you go on TMZ, Triller, Oscar De La Hoya, like pretty much anywhere you see that footage, that's MMA Fighting's footage. They just didn't give us credit.
Unreal.
And it's also like Casey, you've recorded a million press conferences. Like when someone's talking, you like to move the camera onto them so you can frame them up real nice.
Yeah.
So and they're like folks and everything. When Jake Paul is talking, I am confident I can frame him up because Ben Askren is not going to interrupt him. Because if they're yelling at each other, you like to get them both in frame. Mm-hmm. Whenever Jake was talking, I had to zoom out so far because Jake is going to just start jibber jabbering him. And they're like 20 feet apart. And I am about 30 feet back from them. So I'm far away from them. So that's why all of our shots are just like super zoomed out from the back of the room. It was just a very bizarre scene. And like Kenny and I were sitting there just like, I need a shower. I need a shower after this.
Dude, the numbers on that though.
I know. I know. And then
it's
like they were doing
they
went to do one-on-ones, like old media day styles where they would sit in the chairs. But they were tearing down everything behind us. And then Jake left. Frank Mir left. I didn't need to talk to the boxers. So I got Ben, and we each got like 3 minutes each with them. So it is what it is. But that's some tomfoolery for another day.
What event was Rousey versus Betchkahea? Which UFC was that?
190.
UFC 190. That press conference was the UFC 190 of press conferences, because that event took forever and ever and ever and ever. And that's what that press conference was. I remember I started watching it, and then I was like making dinner for the family. 35 minutes later, I come back, and the first fight is still up there answering questions. I was like, what is happening right now? 35 minutes for the first fight. I don't even know what either of these two guys are.
The first fight I can kind of understand, because one of the fighters is a big Hispanic, like it's a big Hispanic superstar. So he's a mega deal in like the Hispanic market. So all of the questions need to be in Spanish, and then they'd have to translate it. So that's why that first one took a long time, because he actually got more questions than Frank and oh my God, who's Cunningham? That one guy got like that one guy got more questions than Cunningham and Mir combined, just because of how it would be like if Machine Gun Kelly was going to go box a guy. Everyone would be asking questions about it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that first fight wasn't for us. It was for another.
No, it definitely was not.
Yeah,
it's a whole nother.
That's a good point.
It's just
that's a good point.
It's just what and that's kind of
corrected.
That's kind of Triller's thing, like for the average boxing fan, Frank Mir fighting, they don't give a crap. I would assume like, well, you have a grappler fighting boxing, okay, but we were interested in it. So yeah, I mean, I think Triller really, that's kind of their business plan. They have bands, and it's just a different format. They just do a different thing, different promotion, and it's gonna be weird, but it's different.
Hey, wait, are you describing Affliction? Sounds like you're just
unless you were throwing it, dude. Okay, first of all, they had Megadeth play, and Megadeth was never. They were okay. Almost kind of. The whole time I'm there, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before. I've definitely seen this before, but Triller seems to be doing their thing right. Yeah. Although I did like they took all that time to build the glass case of emotion for the two fighters to face off, and then they just did it on the outside. Who do you think won the press conference, Jake or Askren?
So it's a really interesting question, and I don't personally think anyone is a clear favorite, because Jake has such big fans. Like, there are so many people in our Instagram and YouTubes and everything complaining about Ben, and then vice versa. Like, this is like, as much as we hate Jake, he has so many fans. The only time he shut up is when Ben brought up his older brother and saying how you're riding the coattails of your. And notice how Ben never called him Jake; he called him Logan's brother, and that drove him nuts.
That's good. Good on Ben. That's smart.
It's also an interesting question, because it depends on like what you're trying to do. Like, we're used to like press conferences going a certain way, and the press conferences that we're used to, Ben Askren destroyed Jake Paul.
This reminds me of, do you remember the first night, I think it was LA, for the Maymac tour, Casey? Remember Connor just went up and did like a normal, he's like, hey, this is going to be a good fight and this and that.
Oh,
he went first, and then Mayweather went second, and then did his whole he was cutting promos, walking around the mic, and Connor's like, what the hell is going on? Like, he didn't know it was going to, and then his mic was turned off. So the next day he was ready. So that was what happened right here. Even Ben said, like, he's so confused by like the entourage scene of boxing, because Jake had like 30 people with him.
I don't even know 30 people. That's insane.
It was but for the stare downs too, what you guys didn't see kind of behind this is like Kenny and I kind of made the executive decision that we were just going to walk up to the box and post up in the middle. And when we got up there, they actually did make us spread out 6 feet, like every 6 feet for the media. The problem is Jake's entourage came and filled all the gaps because he had like 40. But to Triller's credit, they were running around yelling at everyone. So they were trying. They were trying as hard as they could, but it was kind of a nightmare.
Dude, I like boxing, man, but man, I've worked too many boxing events backstage, and like it is, what's the term? Shit show. Yeah, that's
it's
yeah,
it's a circus.
It is a circus. It is. I mean, like
I was
it's the problem. You sometimes
and I was
UFC.
like talking to 100%. I was talking to Marcus, and I was like, I don't know how you do this. He's like, it's an art form. Like, it really is. To just blitz up, like, because obviously there were other boxers there, like, just kind of hanging out, and like I knew they were boxers by how they like. Cause you can tell someone is a fighter because like how they like carry themselves, and like boxing media was like running up like with like their phones asking questions. Like, dude, I can't. Like, this is such a weird scene for me.
Well, Peter, you are correct. I will give this a big LOL, but we have a post show coming, so we don't want to give all our good takes away too early. We're just waiting for the champs because we're not going to be talking too much about this.
Yeah, how many people are watching live right
now?
Like 6,500 or something like that.
Wow.
6,300.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Francis. You can go watch some of the clips that our colleague Alex Savage clips throughout the day, and I think there's one Dana White one out there responding to Jon Jones.
I see a lot of people are saying that we kind of addressed this earlier, that a lot of people saying Stipe deserves the rematch, and none of us are going to argue with you. He deserves the rematch. Absolutely deserves it.
Oh,
he's not going to get it, unfortunately. Of course, but he does deserve it.
I'm sure if you ask Dana White, the word what does deserve mean, Dana? He'll be like, what is this deserve? I never heard of that word.
Well, he said it. Well, he used that term at the pre-fight press conference. He said, "Would Stipe deserve it? Yes, but we have to have that discussion." So I also think just Stipe needs to take time off. He got decapitated in front of a lot of people.
Does he deserve a rematch when he comes back? Whenever he's ready to come back, though.
Depends on who has the belt.
I think he's a Jon Jones fan right now.
Yeah, I think John Stipe is another big one too. If he beats Francis, if Jon Jones goes up to heavyweight and beats Francis Stipe back to back, greatest ever.
I like you said, if Jon Jones goes to heavyweight, because that's what I think. If.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't fought yet.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Have some faith, people. This fight's happening.
Jon Jones.
I feel good about it. I feel like it's gonna happen. I feel like we're gonna hit some road bumps. We're gonna hit some speed bumps along the way. We're gonna be teased that it's not happening, and then like a week later, it'll be done. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to get there, but we're gonna get there. I feel good about it.
Every MMA reporter is gonna have Jon Jones's Twitter notifications, like front page, everything.
Not me. He blocked me years ago.
That's right.
He blocked you?
Still don't know why.
I don't know.
I think there was an argument underneath one of my tweets.
Oh, one of those things. He blocks everyone.
I'm like, whatever. Matt Serra did the same thing.
It's wild.
What am I?
So still waiting for the champ, Francis Ngannou, to address the media. The champ. He's soaking it all in, Just the champ. He's got the belt. It's a big deal.
He's got a million interviews to do right now.
I know. There's two winners that we still haven't talked about. We were running it down earlier, but Omar Morales, nice win over Shane Young, and then Marc-Andre Barriault got a win as well. Here comes the new UFC heavyweight champion of the world, the Predator, Francis Ngannou. There he is, looking like a couple Billy with his gold belt. Let's hear from the man himself after knocking out Stipe Miocic in the second round in the main event of UFC 260.
Francis, congratulations on winning the title. It's been quite the journey for you to get here, and I'm sure it's still kind of all soaking in, but what are the emotions right now that you got that belt on the table next to you?
Thank you, John. I feel great, man. It's been 3 years that I've been living without it. I always thought that I could have it 3 years ago. So tonight there wasn't a place for mistake. So as me and my team, we've been working as it was like on my corner, always remind me to calm down and execute the game plan perfectly. And here we are.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll want to go back and watch it and break it down. But overall, it seemed like a pretty flawless performance. You know, patient, very mature. How did you feel about your performance in there? Did it play out the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, the game plan was to be relaxed, not to rush at all, calm down, and because my team, they know that that's the moment that I have the best of myself when I'm relaxed. I'm not rushing to cut someone's head.
We know that you have the power to knock out anybody, but I'm curious, when you stuffed the takedown, you got that, you showed the defensive wrestling. How much did that mentally do for you in that moment to say, oh, I'm ready, I've got this?
At that specific moment, I didn't think about it, because in the past few months, I've been stopping a lot of takedowns, and that has been like the most part of my training. I mean, I had a training camp before a training camp. I've been working on my wrestling for like 6 months, even before the fight. So at that moment, I didn't think about it. What I thought about it was how he was able to like take shot and like still going. But I'm like, I've been here before, and he's tough. I know he's tough. There's nothing surprise about it. Don't get overwhelmed. Calm down and reset.
Yeah. We saw the emotion in the cage with you and your team. I'm sure you wish you were champion 3 years ago, but in some ways, I mean, do you feel like you appreciate the accomplishment more because it didn't come so fast? You fell short and had to work your way back up. Do you feel like maybe you appreciate it more?
Yeah, definitely. When the journey is longer, the reward is always more appreciable, So I'm sure I would have been happy 3 years ago, but I think from now, from my I have a different perspective about this, being happy about my improvement and how I can do fighting wise, my fighting IQ, see how I can go out there being very patient. So I'm also happy about my performance, even though it didn't last long, but I'm happy that I was able to calm myself and calm myself down. Like, okay, listen to what your corner are telling you, like calm down, you get this, you have 25 minutes, you don't have to rush. And it could happen anytime within 25 minutes.
We don't know what Stipe is going to do next in his career. And I'm sure if they gave him to you again, you'd be happy to take the fight. But do you feel a need to have a trilogy fight with him at any point? Or do you feel like this was definitive enough to put that first one behind you?
Well, personally, no, I don't feel a need. He said, I won't be a champion until he's retired. So maybe he'll retire. But if not, I'll still be down to fight him. I lost against him, and he stand at the greatest heavyweight of all the time. So it makes sense for me to still fight him if needed.
Last thing for me, Dana was here earlier, and he said, look, Jon Jones, if he's willing to step up, that's the fight to make right now. If Jones isn't, then Derek Lewis would probably be the fight to make right now. So do you agree with that assessment that it's Jon Jones or Derek Lewis? And does one of those fights mean more to you than the other?
Well, obviously Jon Jones make more sense for me, but either way, I'm gonna fight. If Jon Jones doesn't come to heavyweight, the division has to move. And as a new heavyweight champion, I decided to move on, put more activity in the division, than he has been in the past 2 or 3 years.
Francis, congratulations. Over to your right. Great performance tonight.
Thank you, sir.
When you started in MMA, when you started boxing even, did you have difficulty with patience? Was it always something that you fought, trying to, battle to be patient in the ring?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, because I didn't have a good understanding of like controlling a time. You know, I was going there not to fight during the time, but to fight instantly and, you know, rushing there. I didn't understand the patient part of it, the fight IQ, how they call it. But, you know, learn everything. I had to learn everything, and I'm learning.
You know, and obviously your coaches did a great job with you, and you showed that tonight. But I wonder how much you feel like you lost the fight last time, even before you got in the ring with the way you prepared. And did you feel like you were more professional this time around? You came in magnificent shape, and you seemed like you were a totally different person, not only in the ring, but just in the way you went about doing your business.
Yeah. This time was a whole different story. You know, we took time, set down every single thing differently, make it right. And I came here tonight knowing that if it doesn't go my way, I'm gonna be satisfied. I'm gonna look at myself. I'm like, okay, I did what I should have done. I did what needed to be done. You know, but didn't mean to like just give up like that. You know, obviously I have to fight, but just look at myself. I'm like, okay, I did the right thing. I'm here, so I can't regret anything else.
A couple other things for me very quickly. First of all, I wonder, when you hit Stipe with that right hand from the top, when he was down after the second knockdown, you're a little scared like you might have hurt him, because I mean, that was an unbelievable punch from the top there that you landed. Were you worried at all about him?
No. You know, Stipe proved that he's a tough guy, and I knew that. So even when he fell the first round, I almost get him. But if he wasn't him, if he was somebody, he wouldn't get up. You know, but he's very tough, and I didn't want to give a chance for him to come back from that.
Obviously, you being the third African champion, and you know, being a heavyweight, right? I mean, everybody loves the heavyweight champion. What impact do you think you're going to be able to have with, you know, young children in Africa? I know you've worked a lot with children and whatnot. And what impact do you think you're going to be have with some of the children back home?
Well, I think this is just like a symbol of dedication and perseverance. You know, for those children, somebody asked me like, what do I gonna do with the belt? And I was saying, maybe we're gonna find a place, in a public place in Cameroon, and put it there so some kids can look on it and he inspire them. They will understand that as a symbol of determination, you know, like somebody coming from where they are to get that. So everything is possible for them if they stay focused and believe in it, in their dream. So, I mean, I think it's my own way of doing it. I don't have any better idea than that, but that's what I'm going for to do.
And finally, there were a lot of celebrities here tonight. I wonder if any celebrities, any famous people texted you to congratulate you after your win.
Probably, but I haven't had a chance to check my phone yet. You're welcome.
Francis, over here, other side. I saw you were talking with Stipe right before they raised your hand. What were you saying to him after the fight?
Well, I told him it was an honor sharing the octagon with him, because he stands as my opponent tonight. But we all know what Stipe has done in the heavyweight division to become a greatest of all the time, you know, and to put me in this position to have the opportunity to be the one who fight the GOAT of the division, you know, is a good thing, and I appreciate it. Stipe is a good guy, and you know, but here we are just doing business.
And then you voiced your displeasure over the years of not getting fights. Maybe the division is held up. You wanted to stay active, but now everyone has to come after you, and you're not going to be short of any fights. So even with that belt, are you looking forward to now just being more active now, and you can fight more often now that you are the champion?
I never ask less. I always ask to be active, and I hope with the belt now, I'm gonna be more active. I'm gonna be able to do 2 or 3 fights per year. So that's my intention moving forward.
Before this fight, you gave an interview with Brett Okamoto of ESPN where you're saying when you think of your childhood, you said there was something missing in your life, and maybe this UFC belt would fill that gap, and you could show people from your childhood that you weren't all that bad. So now that you have the belt, have you really thought about that of filling that gap you didn't have as a kid?
Well, I think I'm gonna go home, take time, collect my emotion, settle, look up to my life, and obviously figure out what is the next step and how to approach that. But yes, this should be it. This has always been my own dream to deal with my childhood. I think I always felt like I needed this to be in the first stage, as I promised myself 20 years or so ago, to become a champion, a world champion, to step and stand in the first step to prove those people who were looking at me like I was nothing, that I was something. I didn't just have a chance as them. I was just a kid who. So yeah, I think so.
Hey, Francis, Stipe came into this fight weighing 234 pounds. Did you feel a bigger size advantage, a much more noticeable advantage than him inside the cage?
No, I feel size disadvantage because I wanted to get lighter than what I was. We all know that watching him fight DC last time, he was lighter. He had the speed and everything, and his condition was great, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I knew that I have a big challenge, and that also helped me focus on my condition regarding the first fight and how he's cutting down to get this condition improved. So that wasn't an advantage for me. I wanted to get lighter. If I can get 20 pound lighter, I will get.
When he did landed the punches, did it feel any different than the first fight?
No, at all. The only difference right here was like I wasn't going there to take his head off. I'm like, okay, I'm just fighting, and I knew that Stipe can take a shot. So yeah, I landed, and I was like, okay, let's go. You still have time. Don't rush. Don't give him a chance to counter or to do something different, And obviously, I knew that Stipe would be waiting on me to rush on him so he can counter or take down or whatever. And me just being patient might just break him down mentally.
And lastly, this is probably the last time you're going to have to fight without fans. As the world's opening up, where's the first city that you would like to defend your title?
The first city that I would like to defend my title? Paris. I mean, I don't think they'll take a big pay-per-view in Paris right now, but I would say Paris. Other than that, Vegas is home. Is a good town. Yeah.
Francis over here to your left. Hi. Francis, at the Hall of Fame, I asked you, what is the moment from your career that you will remember forever? You told me it had not happened yet. Maybe when I win the title. I want to ask you, you have that belt in front of you. Tonight, is this the moment from your career that you will remember forever?
My career hasn't done yet, so there's a lot of things we can be. I'm expecting way more going forward, maybe way better than this. So I still don't know.
Secondly, this is a big moment for you. I know you said you haven't been able to check your phone yet. When Francis Ngannou is finally alone, who's the first person that he's going to call on the phone?
I called my mom already. I wasn't able to talk to her because she was in the middle of party. It was going crazy over there. We couldn't tell, but at least she saw the belt.
Have you imagined, is it going to be on the pillow next to you tonight? Have you figured out what you're going to do?
It's going to be home, It's great, but this is is just a mirror. You know, the most important thing is the principle behind it. You know, the idea, the reason why you are a champ, the title. You know, so I might sleep with him. I will sleep with him definitely, but
Congratulations.
thank you.
Francis in the back to your far left. So a lot has been made of your team, Dewey and Eric, and the adjustments that were made from the first fight to this one. What was that part of the journey like for you? What did you have to buy into in order to achieve what you did tonight?
Oh, everything. Because the first time I didn't do anything right. You know, like thinking about that fight, it was a whole mess. The whole process. I showed up that night, didn't even know what I was here for. Didn't have an emotion, you know, because it was just all over. I was lost in between all this. You know, this time I took a time, collect myself, approach this differently, and I will appreciate it differently.
We were missing the fans tonight, but do you feel like having your title shot here in Apex and really being able to hear your corner, did that help you?
I don't know. I think everyone can hear his corner when he's calm, when he's not rushing, you know, because they are closer and you kind of like get used to their voice during like practice, and that's what we do, you know. Like the first thing that happened when we get in the octagon, I look up where my corner, I see it, so I knew that that's where I'm gonna be looking for and trying to get in a voice from.
Last question for me is Dana has referred to Stipe as the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time. Given your dominant performance tonight, where does that put you?
I think there's still no doubt that Stipe is the greatest of all the time. You know, as his resume said, and nobody hasn't taken that from him. We're gonna see what's happened moving forward. You know, me fighting, defending the title, and from there we're gonna know where is my position.
Francis, you've talked a lot about the first fight against Stipe, but after the fight, you were talking to Rogan. You actually mentioned the date, you know, January 20, 2018. How often have you thought about that date? How often have you thought about that fight?
I thought about it. I don't know. I don't think I ever think of putting down the frequency of the thought about that fight, but I thought about it. Basically, when it comes to like fight, when I think about the title or all those stuff, I mean, I don't know how often, but all the time.
And your journey has been documented, all the places that you've been and how you got here. But how important was Las Vegas? Like, how important has Las Vegas been settling here, finding a home, establishing yourself? How important has that been to your career?
Everywhere has been very important for me. Las Vegas has been very, very important because as a nomad, I have a ability to make everywhere that I am look at like home. And today Vegas is home, and it's giving me everything that you can take from home. But 4 years ago, it was Paris, and Paris was home also. So, yeah.
And are you going to take time to celebrate, or are you already thinking, you know, next fight, getting ready, getting back in the gym, getting ready?
I mean, I'm definitely going to take some time to rest, some time off. That's obvious, you know, knowing that I've been in the very long training camp. I was very exhausted at some point. But I would like to fight as soon as possible, you know, so I'll be ready by summer, July or September, I think, or August, I think.
So my last thing is, you know, obviously tonight you've won the title, all this craziness is going on. Have you thought about the moment, like when you wake up tomorrow morning and realize like, oh yeah, that happened?
No, I haven't think about that, but even now I'm realizing that happened. There's no doubt about it.
Thanks, man.
Francis over here to your right. You got Kamaru Usman in your corner tonight, of course. So what did you guys say to each other after you won tonight?
Well, we just say 3. Meaning 3 African champion. And that was coming up here. I had that pressure on my shoulder, and I was afraid of letting them down, since they were expecting me to become champion and join them as the African champion in our own sort of like association.
And now that you have accomplished that, and there are 3, what does that mean to you?
It's very important. It's a hope. We stand as a hope for a whole continent when it comes to sport. We stand as a hope for all those Africans out there who doesn't have a chance and opportunity, and we just want to put them in the map. We just want to get the UFC, go there, make an event in order to give them hope. To make them believe in something, and for those who are training, so they can have an extra motivation, knowing that training can one day end up somewhere.
And then just last thing, I know you said after the fight that Jon Jones makes sense as the next fight. Will you tell the UFC that? Will you say like, hey, that's the guy I want? I'm the champ. I want to fight Jon Jones next.
I might be the champ, but I don't make a call. I'm just a fighter. So the UFC decide what really happened. But for what I want or what I would like, yes, I would like that.
Thanks, Francis. Congrats.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, champion.
Thank you very much.
Sir, you haven't been shy at all about it, touching on the lowest of the lows, and I'm sure you will experience the highest of the highs. But what is your message to people who are having a hard time persevering? Because you are personifying that now. What do you say to the people struggling that have been in your shoes, if you could reach out to them now in this position that you are as the UFC champion?
What is your first question? You just asked if I have been shy, or
that you have not been shy about your experiences in life when things got difficult, and now you're open about it. But what do you say to the people who struggle now as you did in the past and you reached the top? What is your message to them?
I never been shy about it. I think it was just so tough for me, sad. I didn't like to think about it. It was, at some point I felt like it's a moment that I want to erase in my life. But, moving on, I understood that is what also made me what I am, who I am today. But a lot of people also go through the same struggle as me, didn't have a chance to have a decent or a minimum childhood, because I think at least every kid should at least have a chance to enjoy his childhood. Then becoming adult is in charge of his life, so he can take action and be responsible of his life. But for those who are in the same situation, I can't do anything, but if I can tell somebody something, it's just like, keep moving, believe. It's not fair, I know, but it's not your fault. Because sometimes you feel like it's your fault. As a kid, it's not your fault that you can't afford a scholarship. No, it's not your fault. It's not your duty, it's just because your parent didn't have a chance. It's not your fault that you don't have shoes. It's not your fault that you don't have a pen or something, So just keep moving, try to do your best. And that's what you can hold yourself accountable for it, for not trying. But if you try and still don't succeed, that's still not your fault.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou, gets it done, knocks out Stipe Miocic in the second round. Could he be on to a mega fight with Johnny Bones? God, I hope so. There's just no other fight to make right now. So congratulations to Francis Ngannou, one of the just all-time scariest guys in the octagon, but one of the all-time nicest guys outside of it. Congratulations to him. And I know you guys want to talk about this card a little bit more, so we're going to do our post-fight show on the other side in a matter of moments, so join us over there. And literally all we're going to do is just react to your thoughts and your questions. That's what we're going to do, because we've talked about all the top storylines already. We want to hear from you, so join us on the other side. Casey and myself, maybe AK, I'm not really sure. But until then, we'll see you. Join us for the post-fight show coming up next.